The Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, craze and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Action.
Yo, yo, who's out there? 0 people out of 8 billion in the world and growing every day. So last minute decided to do another late night live show. So if there's any UKers around, this is your opportunity to join. It's a big rainstorm outside, so I won't be taking the dog out, so I started a wee bit earlier than normal. It's the biggest rainstorm we've had for a while. So we just carried on from where we left off last live, because we didn't have enough time to go through all the tabs again. So, science and the UFO connection, of course. Big Bang, Plasma, SpaceTime, Part 2. Ooh, what's happened there? It's kind of an error message. Why is that? Errors, try again. What errors? Well, looks like I can. Did it go that time? Nope. Looks like they stuffed up, have they? Looks like they've been playing around with the code. That's really strange. Does it allow me to post it here? Right, we're there. No. It's rejected it. Don't tell me you're going to have problems. Oh dear. Google, you're always messing up. Always. Down in my own chat session, never happen. Anyway. Error. Hello. Happy with that one? So maybe we've been suppressed even further. Not allowed to talk about science, not allowed to talk about Big Bang. Let's just have a play with that. Let's see if it is censorship. Let's try question everything. Did it work? Yeah, that come up, didn't it? Alright, it's got retry. What's that one? Oh no, it did come up. I'll just do that. again, just to be sure. Yep. Alright, let's add on Big Bang. I suppose it sounds sexual, doesn't it? Dumbass AI. Alright, it's worked that time. What was the other words I had in it? Plasma, SpaceTime. Maybe SpaceTime has been banned. Plasma. Alright, seems to be alright with that one. Let's see, paste. That's working now. I just did what I'd normally do, and it looks like it's come up. Anyway, they probably think I'm spanning myself. Funny as. How are we ever going to win with Google? I don't think we ever will. Let's see, I've got to paste up the other comment to my web page. I guess it's going to be another long night. No, it's accepting that one now. Says it's got excellent connection now. Can't see anything else wrong. Okay, let's see if we can pin it. I'll do it over here just in case. Yep, that's working. They probably have some monitor as you start your live stream, right? Yeah, anyway, got there in the end. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the night. Let's see, where do we begin? So I've been getting a few more little subs here and there. I've been trying to make a lot of shorts on the various lives we've done, plus a few extras. I did some short videos. So if you ain't seen them, it's worth checking them out. And that seemed to have got me a few extra views, but not thousands, and it got me a couple of subs. But yeah, we've finally gone up to 2820. Whether Google will let us keep it, I don't know. So yeah, let's have a look. Lots of tabs again. So it should say here now. We're about 2.62 1.2k videos. Yes, so I put up these ones here on this crazy UFO lens flare. Looks like a UFO, and that kind of looks like one of those beam ships underneath. It's funny how you can get water droplets and crystals hanging in the sun. If you aim it at the camera at the right angle, this is what you get. Colourful little crown on it. And also we've got some bugs and birds in a tree. So I was just doing a few tests to see what Google would promote, and you can see not much. So birds in the tree, 14 views. Bugs that look like rods and UFOs, 19 views. And what's that one? 80 views. So it just shows if you put up something that's clickbaity, even that will get views. But yeah, shorts is where it happens. That's where you get most of the views. So I converted each of those ones to a short as well. 14 seconds seem to be the best ones. If you do a minute, again, short attention spans, Generation SIDS, I think. But yeah, we got some crazy things happening on that one. But you can see even that only got 145 views. I don't think they rolled it out. And this one, only 36 still. So they definitely didn't roll that one out. Even though I was careful not to say UFOs, I think rods must be a banned word. They must have like admin staff checking it over rather than a robot. I don't know. Be good to see behind the scenes how they censor us. Anyway, I just have to keep trying, I guess. 7 views, is it? On that one? No. 13 views. That was the one on cryogenic snow in space, and comparing it to what I was getting on the camera. 11 views on that one. What was that one? Space snow. So, yep. Google didn't roll it out. Crazy mist. 26 views. No one, Google didn't think promoting crazy mist was any good, but if you videotape a blocked rain, you can get 30,000 views apparently, because that's what Blue Chicken got. So I don't know how you can beat the bots anymore, but I think I'm pretty much red flagged, you know. 10 views on the drone one, even though it's good information for people. 48 views on the A balloon, which some idiots are promoting as a UFO. Even Board Charlie, one there only got over 100. He normally gets a couple of thousand. So go and check them out anyway. There's no point in recovering it here. But yeah, I have got lots of tabs here. Some of them I might just use with Roberts. But yeah, there's all sorts of crazy wackiness happening in ufology still, especially on Twitter. Yeah, so we still got no one joining us. Let's see, it must be early morning in UK, isn't it? Let's just check the times. It's about, must be close to lunchtime. Should be someone around. What time in UK? Okay, here we go. Yep, coming up to lunchtime over there. Here it's coming up to midnight. Well, another hour away, but let's see how we go. Time in USA. That will confuse it because there's two sides of USA. Early morning. I wonder if there'll be anyone up that time. Heck come. It's really early in Los Angeles at the moment, so I don't expect any people from USA to make it unless they're early risers. Anyway, I'll just carry on. My eyes are a wee bit blurry. I'd say extremely blurry, but we'll see how we go. I'm probably going to have to zoom in a lot. I don't know why it's so blurry tonight. It's been good the last few days. Maybe it needs some more eye drops in again. So yeah, I think that's the first one there, isn't it? Okay, space-time. According to Einstein's theory, why is time a dimension of the 3+1 space-time structure? So let's see who answers it the best here. And we got a professor of physics 6 years ago. And straight away they're bunching in mathematics, right? They think that kind of explains it, right? And they're talking about inflation. We talked about that last time. How a lot of it sounds like hogwash. Fabric of space is like it's a fabric. It's a vacuum. Almost a vacuum. Okay, so I always had a problem with space-time, as you know. Space can never be devoid of time. It's kind of cryptic already, isn't it? It's theoretical. Space can't be void of time. As far as I'm concerned, time is always steadily moving forward. And it's not actually a real thing. It's a perceived thing for our senses, really. If you say that all the clocks in the world suddenly stop, right, and you went to sleep, then you woke up when you felt like you were refreshed, and you did have a clock to look at, what would your perceived time be? Minutes, hours, days? You see what I mean? You always reference your clock to see, oh, I slept 8 hours. But it's not likely the time's going to be going backwards. So you can't space travel. So this is a problem with mathematics, where it can actually have things that aren't part of reality, like time travel. So he's saying time is in space. Well, I suppose technically that's correct. Time is everywhere. In our perception, but it's not actually a physical thing. And they're treating it like it's a real thing here, from what I'm seeing. Time can never be devoid of space. If we say where, then when automatically crawls in and vice versa. As we perceive, that's what I said. The space we reside is three-dimensional. So that's length times height times width, right? Also time, interval between two events, seems like flowing in particular direction. Well, it only moves forward. Else we could look up the lotto numbers and then scroll back the time and make sure you get a ticket before the closing and win all the money, which I didn't do tonight. My ticket only got one number. I'm probably the most unluckiest guy in the world. And yet when someone won the 33 million, it was from a rich area and they didn't claim it straight away, and they had to track them down. How stupid is that? Took 2 weeks to claim 33 millions. People like that don't deserve money, especially lots of money. And this is the reason why time is considered another dimension. Since space and time can exist independently, replace space and time with a new word called SpaceTime. Space is three-dimensional and time is considered to be one dimension. Thus, we consider space-time to be fourth-dimensional. Kind of weird thinking, I think. But that's Einstein for you, I guess. Why do you even need to include time in space? still though, because time exists everywhere. Even in your sleep, your dreams progress forward, right? I don't think I've ever dreamt I was going back in time, or travelling back in time. But you remember things from the past that you've experienced. Is that kind of time travel to humans? Remember in the past? But I think maybe Einstein didn't expect people to consider time travel. But all this idea that if you get closer to the speed of light, time slows down. Well, it doesn't, does it? Time still remains at a constant speed. It's just you're getting from one destination to the other faster if you're moving at the speed of light, right? Of course, light is moving at the speed of light, and if you're moving towards the light at the speed of light, then this is where it gets a bit crazy. They think that's where the time slows down, because they call it time dilation, right? But why would it slow down? Maybe you wouldn't be able to see it with your eyes, because, well, you should be able to, right? But it would almost be like instant, because you're heading towards... It's a bit crazy thinking, really. So if you're moving at warp speed towards a star, warp speed being the speed of light, you're seeing the light sooner, but until you've closed the gap between you and the star by... Well, it takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the earth. So if you travel towards the sun at the speed of light, it will take you 8 minutes to get there and impact on the surface. So if the light's coming from the sun and you're heading towards the sun, then you're going to see the light sooner, aren't you? Like if you meet halfway, the sun's only travelled 4 minutes and you've travelled 4 minutes. Doesn't change anything. You're just seeing the light sooner. Now, if you could go faster than the speed of light, then that gets a bit tricky, doesn't it? But when you think about it, light's still heading towards your eye. Again, you're going to be seeing it faster. So, I think all this idea of time travel is just nonsense. So what other things have I said? Physicists have got it all wrong. All this time. Einstein's formula is only half complete. I am here to help him with the other missing half. Now, this is why there's always going to be debates about Einstein stuff. E equals mc squared is E is for energy and m is for mass. So what we think of 3 dimensions of space and one of time is particularly wrong, partially wrong, I mean. 3 dimensions of space is nothing more than measurements of a spatial dimension. Alright, so it's getting a bit more tricky in thinking now. So space itself will only be 1 dimension. Okay. All by itself. So if we take this into consideration and Einstein's observations, we can conclude that we have the right 4 dimensions. There are the right dimensions. 1 is energy, 2 is mass, 3 is space, and 4 is time, I guess. Now, energy equals mass, just like space, equals time. So people are just getting it all warped up, I think. Now to go beyond Einstein's observation to enter the fifth dimension is through a black hole. Oh, right, we got a black hole added in now, which is shortcut. Where we're going in time and space, which is nothing more than teleportation. In a sense, some future time travel. In a sense, time travel. He's trying to say you move forward in the future then. But that's time travel in one direction. So this is where it's all crazy to me. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because simply going at the speed of light, you're not moving into, or going faster than the speed of light even. You're not really going into the future. You're just moving quicker. Not much though. Entities and UFOs travel through the fifth dimension all the time. The only ones we'll never have access to, at least not alive, is the sixth and seventh dimensions. These two are only for spirits. Yeah, vodka and gin. Sixth one is hell, and seventh up to the 12th is heaven. 7 heaven, 11 7 to 11. He's got it up to 12 here. What is it? 11 7. What's the saying that I'm thinking of? So you can see how things can all be twisted by different people here. For the start, you can't say energy is the dimension. But you could probably say energy is actually universe. Energy is everything. But here we're talking about a quantization of energy, a section of energy. But yeah, I still think he's right. Einstein is wrong, but he's not correct either. But it's interesting reading all this and seeing how people think. There are 3 dimensions which one can imagine. I think that's what Einstein did a lot of. But Einstein, in many of his theory, has considered time as the 4th dimension. How can I imagine time as a 4th dimension? Yeah, I know what he means. I know, we're talking about super string theory. That's that Japanese guy, what's his name? Kaku. What's his first name? Oh, I can't remember. Beyond the three space and 1 time dimensions, we can be seen in the extra dimensions. Could space-time be considered 3 time coordinates, 1 spatial dimension? That sounds almost like Doctor Who stuff now. I think string theory is just a load of horse crap too. And that guy's doing pretty well, making money out of it anyway. It follows directly from the invariance of the speed of light. And now we've got a PhD here in theoretical physics. 30 years experience and talking to garbage. In order for that to be true, different observers must measure space and time differently, but in such a way that some of what one observer considers time, the other considers space. Isn't that gobbledygook? Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, Einstein's got a lot to answer for, I think. Time has a claim to fame. Space-time's fourth dimension. To be sure it's a valid one, some things will have to mention. One dimension is one direction. So he's applying direction, but I don't think you can say it's one direction either, because you've got width and length and height, but that could be anywhere in that space. Could be a chunk of it or all of it. So why couldn't the width start on the other end and come towards us, and also go from us to the other end of the dimension, the width, I mean, to form the dimension? I think they're mixing up sci-fi with reality here. So next they'll be saying because you can go either direction in the width, you can go back in time, which is nonsense because time is still moving forward. Any other good ones here? SR and GR are geometric theories that provide no underlying mechanism behind their predictions. So that stands for general relativity. As such, they provide relationships between say time and velocity. Yeah, well, time makes sense in velocity because that's how you measure how fast you're going, right? Taking less time to get there. But sterile in providing any understanding of anything beyond the geometry. Was this worth your time? Certainly not. What is light according to Einstein's theory? Einstein considered light a particle. Well, you might actually be right there. I might actually agree with that. To explain his photoelectric effect. When he concluded that no of ejected electrons doesn't depend on the intensity of light would be wave, then due to uniformity of the wave, no of electrons ejected should depend on intensity. Does that make any sense? I think Einstein might be right there that light is a particle, but it's spinning dense energy that's creating an electromagnetic wave. That's what I think. Proving it? Can't. You can't prove it. Yes, as E equals MC squared is taken directly from F equals MA. That's not wrestling. Kickboxing. As time is necessarily possible, potential, and actual. My answer to this is true that the dimension of space are clearly balanced. As E equal MC squared is taken directly from F equals MA. Hey, we got John joining us. We got one person in the world. 1 of 8 billion. We should call you 1 of 8 billion. How's it going? Yeah, it's not quite morning here of Sunday, but it's getting close. Good morning to you. Head off shooting New Zealand, what? Ah, heard of shooting. Ah, right, yeah. Auckland, up in Auckland, where it's all crazy up there. It's just like New York up there. Where in the city I'm in, it's like a slow country town. It is. It's a very sleepy, slow town, Christchurch. Yeah. Also, a Chinese woman, a real estate has gone missing in Christchurch. That's the biggest news. But where she was door knocking, I know there's some neo-Nazis that live there. I think she may have just knocked on the wrong door and maybe been done with. They probably drove past, grabbed her, and threw her in the car and took her off somewhere. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think she's been missing 4 days now. We had some neo-Nazis live at the back of us. They were crazy and dangerous and threatening. And of course, I was doing computer contracting, and the place where she was at was where I went to service a computer, and the guy was wearing Nazi boots and swastika and t-shirt and all that sort of stuff. He was living with his dad, and his dad was proud of him. And I was there to fix their computer as, just self-employed and get the hell out of there. Yeah, I was sort of uneasy. But, yeah. But there has been people abducted, Asian people, tourists, on the west coast of New Zealand that disappeared. Turned out they got picked up by these neo-Nazis, and they beat them with the car iron to change the tyre. Pretty sad. You think the Asian would have had a bit more sense though. But anyway, he got killed, and eventually I think they got caught out, left DNA, But really, New Zealand doesn't have any death penalty, so they have a nice cruisy life in jail for the rest of their lives. Even that might not be guaranteed. Some of these people get out in 20 years or less, don't they? Sad. Yeah, that's your fault for bringing up all the bad news in New Zealand at the moment. But yeah, normally when something like that happens, it's like big news in the whole country. If someone goes missing, we hear about it. We're like a small country town where everybody in New Zealand's looking out for each other. Yeah, so I hear with Jimmy Dore show, right? New Zealand, it's not good for New Zealand's reputation, right? And the cops don't have guns over here. They don't carry them on. Unlike Australia. Anyway, back on with the science stuff. This is what I think. This is the problem with humans, So much hostility and hate. It's no wonder aliens don't want anything to do with us. Because humans are unpredictable creatures, right? Especially if you're on substances. You should know about that, John. Your little pool parties. Yeah, I probably never better drink alcohol again myself. With the test results I got back, my liver is under stress still. My liver results come back almost suggested I'm an alcoholic, and I hardly ever touch alcohol. They call it fatty liver, so I'm not sure if it was the meds I was on that's damaged it, but I don't think I've had a fatty liver before then. But yeah, plus I've lost weight, so, and hopefully you'll lose some more once we get back into summer, but yeah, I'm not sure how you can repair your liver. But anyway, I feel okay now to what I was. I thought I was dying. I think the doctors almost killed me. The men in black are out to get me. They're trying, all the haters on YouTube. Yep, heard fatty liver. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it all. Haven't bothered researching it. I heard, was it vitamin B or something? Maybe vitamin B. Anyway, if it was serious, the doctor would have probably phoned me up and talked to me on the phone. He's pretty good like that. He says, last time I had like swollen feet, he thought I had and the blood test come back, said that I may have a blockage in an artery, and he said, get down to the overnight thing, because it was in the weekend, and we had to go to this overnight hospital at midnight, because he, he only just got the results in, and he phoned me at like 11 p.m. He's a really good doctor. He says, oh, your blood test suggests that we'd better get you injected and thin your blood straight away. I said, I feel okay though. So yeah, I don't know. I'm probably the one that has a regular blood tests, because it's been so crazy for the last couple of years. At least get one done every 3 months, because that sort of gives them a indicator if it's getting worse or getting better, right? Anyway, better carry on as we never get through all this stuff again. Like I said, you know, you could just die in your sleep and not know about it. And who's going to take over from the Out There channel? There's not many of us left. Don't die, ball. Yeah, well, some days I felt like I was going to, though. Worse than Goofon. You probably seen Goofon talking about his health. I see he's given up, I was trying to give up smoking, and his e-cigarette weed and buds and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know if he'll be able to do it. Very few smokers can give up, I find. Most of them last a wee while and then they go back on. They get temptation, right? But the problem I was having was there's also mucking around with my hormones. My TSH was crazy. I think it's back to normal now, but it was making me like super hungry. The hormones make you super hungry. Anyway, better stop talking about me. I just I'm getting better anyway, hopefully. But yeah, this is where we teach and show people stuff here. Hopefully enough people will learn the science of technology and apply it to UFO videos like I do. Can't just have Mick West. Mick West won't be around forever either. You need more people looking at videos. I suppose MUFON sort of do it. They've got a couple of experts here, but I wouldn't think Mark what's his name? Mark D'Antonio is really as good as they claim. After seeing some of the stuff he did on Proof Is Out There, right? Stuff that he should know about, you know. He should actually, you know, obviously he's not following the UFO topic like we are, as he would know about the Puerto Rico 2 heart-shaped lanterns, right, being the solution there, and also the other one, which was internal lens reflection for the Turkey one. He didn't have a clue on that one. And also on that, what was that other place, Costa Rica one, where it looked like a flying saucer, right? But it couldn't be. It's a bit like this one here that I was talking about earlier. It looks like a real object, but it's not. This one here, it's a bit like that. So if you get the sun at an extreme angle, it can actually reflect off any parts in the camera. In this case, it's reflecting off the lens, right? And it looks like a cloaking UFO with some sort of strange black bit on the top, shooting off a multi-spectrum coloured beam of light. But yeah, if you watch that video, I explain how it's created and the technical aspect of it. But I'll leave you to watch that when you got time. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any more I need to talk about SpaceTime here. You can see not everyone agrees on it, especially me, because it doesn't sort of make sense, you know. We know E equals MC is looking correct. Whether it is correct is another thing. We know that atom bombs work by splitting the atom and releasing all the energy. So we've got mass being ripped apart, creates a lot of energy. But to me it seems the same thing though, because matter is dense energy. So saying energy equals dense energy at the speed of light, I'm pretty sure someone will come out with something better than Einstein did at some time. Might not be in our lifetime. I think once we get into space and start landing on planets and have more scientists out there exploring, documenting and figuring out stuff, I think then, only then will we progress. Be interesting though. I think it might be possible if we can get fusion power working, because then they might be able to keep improving it and then scale it down, like make it the size of a refrigerator, like, and stick it in a spaceship and have multiple of them all generating lots of power that you can create thrust with, because you got endless power supply power. Then how would you create thrust though in space? You need some sort of like explosive gas coming up the back, right? It pushes you along. I know they talked about doing it with fission reaction. I mean, what called the alias or something like that, I think it was called. I was going to talk about it at high school as a project. Fission powered spacecraft. So let's see if there's anything out there. Talking about fusion. Didn't I type fission? Did I spell it wrong? No? Maybe I have. Fission. Is that the one? Why don't we use fission fusion power? Because we haven't got it yet. We want fission nuclear power. Oh, it's got JWST there. New nuclear engine concept could help realise 3 months. Here we go. That was back in 2020. 3 month trips to Mars. So we were talking about that before, where the AI was saying there were some theories that you could get there in 3 months, moving at close to the speed of light. Was it 800? No, it wasn't speed of light. 800,000 miles per hour or something. Still quite fast. So it looks like some vlog here. That's Yahoo News or something. That's no good. Looks like a scraper. A web scraper. Project Longshot Design. We haven't even got fusion power reactors going, so why are they talking about it? Lockheed Cloaking's breakthrough on fusion back in 2014, and we're still, what, another 7 years on, it still hasn't happened. Oh, here's one that's got a nuclear thing, but how does it work? It must create a chain reaction at the back of it. Pushes it along. How would you do it with that fusion power though? Maybe you have to do another topic on that one. Do some research on it a bit better and bring up all the different tabs on it. Let's see. Now they're talking about fusion power on these ones. What have we got here? Nozzle. Fission. Yeah, it's got fission on that one. So how does that work? How would you contain it though? So it's still using liquid hydrogen here. Yeah, it looks like it's in Spanish. Need a better diagram than that to explain it better. There doesn't seem to be anything on it. That's all the images we got. That's pretty bad. Nuclear thermal propulsion. Well, that's one on Reddit. That's US military is getting serious about nuclear thermal propulsion. Are they? It looks like 2001 spaceship, is it? Was that a nuclear one, was it? I don't know. How's it doing it? Looks like it's shooting the pellets or something into space and igniting them. And then the shockwave pushes it along. Now, if aliens were doing that, you'd see them coming, wouldn't you? You'd see that big pulse in every certain minutes, right? What have we got here? It's complicated. Is that a heat shield? Remember I was talking about you'd have to have some sort of shield in front of all the micrometeorites, else it would be destroying the craft as you're speeding through space. So that looks like the expanded umbrella they're using there, which yeah, probably would do it, wouldn't it? Have to be like Kevlar or something like that, so it just impacts and sort of Slows it down a bit like a trampoline or something, maybe. We haven't got anything written there. Is it a link to a link, is it? No. Oh, you have to join to read it, do you? That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, it's got join up there. Anyway, it's worth a quick look. And there was another one called Delirious or something like that. Dandelious spacecraft. I wonder if, I'm not sure how you spell it now. Dandelions. Could be. Dandelions. What is... It's got spacecraft there. What is it? Coming along, I reckon. Yeah, I'm going to have to zoom in a bit because of my eyes. Soft opening of Wolfpack Space Hub's new facility. Okay, so it's not the thing I was thinking of. It's kind of weird. Remember, was it Bigelow had a blow up module for the space station? I suppose it might even use them on Mars or Moon, right? So you can pack it quite a lot into a nose cone of a SpaceX, and then it sort of inflates itself like a lifeboat, and it creates a livable area inside. I did cover it maybe a year ago. Blow up space module. I think it was Bigelow. There we go. Blow up space modules. It's a good idea. And I think they need something like that for greenhouses. Have like a cylinder that blows up and it's all clear plastic. And that way you don't have to build anything, you just anchor it down like a tent and just grow stuff in it. That would be really cool. Yeah. A cheaper space station from Bigelow. Yeah, but is he going to go in it himself? That meant to be an inside of it there, I guess. Is that the same thing? Yeah, inflatable International Space Station. How would you get all the stuff in there? You'd have to fill it up after. Shrink wrap it and yeah, keep on going. Yeah, we're going to talk about that guy, Steve's mate. What a scumbag that guy is too. Anyway, where's the start of it gone? I'll probably be doing that with Robert as well as Roswell and Nuclear Silos. We'll see how much we can do anyway. Come Monday or Sunday night, midnight, when Robert wants to do shows on unsociable hours for the UK people anyway. It's good for me because it'll be my lunch hour almost. Yeah, so I don't know if there's much more on his. There must be a reason I got it though. Maybe just to talk about it, maybe. I've had it like sitting here for months. So I was going to do something with it. No, but then no theory Einstein says anything about vibration of mountains. Do mountains vibrate according to Einstein's theory? Oh dear. Is Einstein's theory of fourth dimension incorrect? Space-time dimensions, I think it is. Yes, space-time is not a thing. Space is just volume, whatever it contains. Yeah, exactly. Volume is completely described by three axes, dimensions. There is no fourth axis. What's that one? Orthogonal to volume. Orthogonal. What the hell word is that? Time is just a concept about the duration of any specified movement or anything through space or anything like a clock oscillating at a certain rate. It has been called the fourth dimension, but this is a literal usage of the word dimension. The dimension of the concept. There is no hyperspace as imagined by non-Euclideans, is it? And sci-fi fans. No fourth spatial dimension as falsely claimed. So there you go. Like I said, there's a lot of people that don't agree with it. And I think he's rationalized it, right? Time only just moves forward. And if you can move faster through that volume, then it takes less time to get to the other end. That's all. But yeah, they're relating it to obviously bent space and all that sort of stuff, and that's what explains gravity, blah blah blah. And they keep saying it's proven when it really isn't. As we talked about last live show on this, time is dimension, not exactly like the three dimensions. Well, time is separate from volume, isn't it? Just like the last guy said. In the three space dimensions, you can travel through them and return to the exact point. Yep. Time dimension, you can never return the time you started from. Exactly. So they are not the same in all respects. But people like Jack Safati, Jack in the Box, he believes in time travel. That depends on what you are calling dimensions. There are only four dimensions that are numeric variables that make up space-time. You travel through all four in finite time. So again, the messing of it again. All other dimensions are imaginary. Well, so is time. It's only a construct for our brains. Like I said earlier, if we were asleep with no clocks available and woke up, we wouldn't know what time, how long we slept for. If space and time are only one dimension of space-time, then why do each of space and time have quantum levels? Oh no. This sounds like alien scientist stuff. As they would make them unique, yet operate in a relative way. So we've got a little UFO bouncing up and down, have we? Space is a big trampoline of fun. Space. If space and time are only one dimension of space-time, then why do each of space and time have quantum levels? As that would make them unique, distinct, yet operate in a relative way, but distinct in the first place. A load of gobbledygook. Now he's going to try and explain it. Okay, the term space-time and dimension need to be clearly revised. Yeah. I don't know if that helps us any. Or that. Yeah, that really helps solve the solution there. Dimension is a measurement along one axis of an object that is not a supernatural. And does space contain the dimension of time in it? The dimension of time is not understood as being contained within space. Nope. So, in that space, if there's no humans, there wouldn't be any time, would there? Because it's an imaginary construct of humans. It's like, does a tree in a forest that falls down make a sound? Even if you're not there to hear it. Well, logically it should do, but say if the tree fell down, well, I suppose it would have to make sound regardless. If it fell down on water, it would still make a splash. Yeah. It's like one of those thinking theory things, isn't it? So time has to exist, and it's always moving forward. But if you're not there to see it, or think it, it's still moving forward. Otherwise, the stars are still rotating around in that space, so there has to be a time for it to move from point A to point B. So time has to exist. But that star's not going to spin in the opposite direction, going back from where it come, because time only moves forward. That's how I rationalize it. As you can see, this just goes on and on and on. Did Einstein say there is no such thing as absolute time and space? If so, why? They are both the weirdest things. Time always seems to be passing at the same rate. Yep. No matter who, where, or when. But time passes more slowly as your toes, at your toes, passes more slowly at your toes than at your nose. Down to the direction in which time passes more slowly. Nah, this is where they got it all wrong. Time is time. This is because they're mixing up the speed of light with it. Now this is where it's all wrong. Your GPS system only works. What else is he going to say here? It's all dimmed. Because Einstein's GR and SR into account. What the hell is he talking about? The GPS satellites are going much faster than you. So time is passing more slowly for them. No, time is still the same if you're in space or on the ground. This is where it's all wrong. I don't agree with that at all. They're moving faster than us because they're in orbit, and we're moving constantly at 1,000 miles per hour on the surface of Earth, right? Give or take elevation, of course. And if you're moving with it, yeah, these people are just crazy. Some of them. What was that guy saying? That crap? Probably a PhD, was it? Science speaker. There you go. In 280 schools, the university and everything. 2002 to present. What the hell does that even mean? Corrupting young minds with that nonsense. Okay. Was Einstein's theory rejected? Lorenz, Einstein, Herbert theories about special and generality cannot be rejected because it's implicit in Maxwell's equations and so they can't get rid of it because everything then all falls to bits. Consequently inherent in the dynamical principle in the sense that such equations reflects the matter vacuum interaction. Some interpretations may be rejected, but the mathematics of theory not. They're so stuck on their maths, right? Different approaches of the mentioned physicists led to the same equations. Einstein's approach is the latest phenomenological one. Is entirely centered on postulates and principles. The other approaches are more conclusive with regard to origin of these postulates and principles. Gobbledygook. Former independent research. Where's he from? Ogba. Sounds like somewhere in Europe, is it? Time Traveller. Oh, this one might be good. Worked at Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Hey, me too. At university. The university's mathematical space-time coordinate system needs 4 dimensions to properly calculate problems using realistic mathematics. Relativity, I think he's trying to, what it says here, and there will be errors. Damn right there will be. Relativity and space-time physics and relativistic trigonometry. What words. So yeah, we can go through all these guys talking about it. I know we've got one with spaceships here. Wow, we sure can't seem to find any variance in off the speed of light in a vacuum. Although that's been questioned, isn't it? Some reckon it can even slow down. That's what the redshift is, isn't it? But I've heard that certain crystals, they reckon it speeds up. So I don't know if... might be another research topic on that one, to see what some are saying about it. So another one there, BH, Bachelor of Science. I think no, as space-time is one thing and space and time are not separate entities. Time is just our way of describing motion through space, exactly. But space dimensions aren't really physical things either. Mass, light and energy are what makes things physical. Well, I think energy and mass are the same thing, and light. Electromagnetic energy and dense energy. But anyway, can't dwell too much on that. If you want to go and read through all that one, that's a big list there. You can see people having problems with it, and me too. Space-time. Oh man, I'm not sure if you can hear. Oh, it's not going to let us send it, is it? Too damn long. All that crap they put on the end. Let's see, does it work if I get rid of that? Probably. You can try it out if you want. Has it come up? Yeah. You didn't see what it was doing though, because I'm on the other screen, but It's easier for me to do it on the other screen to post it than on this one. Moving on to the next one. The Big Bang didn't happen. Back to the Big Bang again. So what do the James Webb images really show? So this has been ongoing now with new stuff coming out all the time. That's sort of contradicting things, and that's sort of making everybody panic. Man, it's loud even through the headset here. Let's just bring up the camera and show you. As if the cameras are still going. I hope water doesn't get into it, because I still haven't managed to do a sky watching one because we all got crap weather. It looks like it's all working, but you can see the lens is covered. This one's in the most open area. So it's the best camera though. This one is in the corner of the house, and that one seems to be okay covered. This is the one that got water inside, and hopefully my silicon gel stuff I did around it as and finally stopped water getting in. It's hard to know until we see some sun again and see if it all dries up. But there is a strange smudge on the lens. I think I may have got some silicon gel on the outer edge of the lens, so I have to maybe check that out again and see if I can rub it down with some isopropyl. But it's not too bad. It looks like there's a little bit dirty mark there and a dirty mark there inside the lens, which will be there for life unless I break it open. That would be soot in the water or something like that from smog that got in there. But yeah, this one's really getting hosed. Can't see much out of that one. Hopefully water doesn't get inside that one. That's also the same camera as the other one, got water inside. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell when it's foggy like this, where the water's got inside. Because it hasn't got a defined shape. That one has, you see. Looks like a little UFO there. Mothership. That one looks like it's definitely on the lens. I think it looks pretty good. I think I might have solved that one. But it looks like we've got 10 days of rain, according to the weather forecast. But yeah, you might be able to hear it. I don't know if the noise cancellation is getting rid of it, but it's pretty bad outside, as you can see on the camera before. Back to the Big Bang. So this is 11th of August 2022, where we got the President and Chief Scientist. The Big Bang hypothesis, which states the universe has been expanding since the beginning, since it began 14 billion years ago. Well, this has now been doubled with the James Watt's new discoveries of galaxies, but we'll get to that article in a minute. In the hot and dense state, is contradicted by the new James Webb Space Telescope images, and it still is. To everyone who sees them, the new James Webb Telescope images of the cosmos are beautifully awe-inspiring, but to most professional astronomers and cosmologists, they are also extremely surprising. Not at all what was predicted by theory. In the flood of technical astronomical papers published online since June 12, the authors report again and again that the images show surprisingly many galaxies that are surprisingly smooth, surprisingly small and surprisingly old. Lots of surprises and not necessarily pleasant ones. One paper's title begins with the candid exclamation of panic. Why do JWST images inspire panic among cosmologists? Because the sky is fallen. And what theory predictions are they contradicting? The papers don't actually say. The truth that these papers don't report is that the hypothesis that the JWST images are blatantly and repeatedly contradicting is the Big Bang hypothesis that the universe began 14 billion years ago in an incredible hot, dense state and began expanding ever since. Yeah, doesn't that just sound like a bogus gobblers, doesn't it? And remember I was talking about last live show, the AI was saying there wasn't a cosmic center of where this where it started expanding from, which has got to be totally wrong. Since the hypothesis has been defended for decades as unquestionable truth by the vast variety of cosmology theorists, that's all they are though. The new data is causing these theorists to panic. Yeah, they need to get on spaceships and get out there and do some real science instead of theorizing. Right now I find myself lying awake at 3 in the morning, says Alison Kirkpatrick. Not the Kirkpatrick we know in UFO land, I guess. An astronomer at the University of Kansas. Okay, what else we got here? The delusions of cosmology. Was there more? It seems like it's a wee bit short, doesn't it? It's not too complicated to explain why these too small, too smooth, too old, and too numerous galaxies. I guess this is carrying on. Looks like it might be another chapter, I don't know. Are completely incompatible with the Big Bang hypothesis. Let's begin with too small. If the universe expanded, a strange optical illusion must exist. Galaxies or any other objects in the expanding space do not continue to look smaller and smaller with increase in distance. Do not? Oh, right, they're saying that's what they're saying. Beyond a certain point, they start looking larger and larger. This is because their light is supposedly supposed to have left them when they were closer to us. So it's radiant outwards. So it's going to look bigger, is that what they're saying? This is in sharp contrast to ordinary non-expanded space where objects look smaller in proportion to their distance. Maybe the idea that light's actually wrong. Put another way, the galaxies that the JWST shows are just the same size as the galaxies near us, assuming that the universe is not expanding and redshift is proportional to distance. Smaller and smaller is exactly what the JWST images show. Even galaxies with greater luminosity and mass than our own Milky Way galaxy appear in these images to be 2 to 3 times smaller than in similar images observed with the Hubble telescope. And the new galaxies have redshifts which are also 2 to 3 times greater. This is not at all what is expected with the expanding universe, but exactly what I and my colleagues, Ricardo, oh no, not the Richard, Rich Gufon, no, not that one, Schiapia, predicted based on a non-expanding universe with redshift proportional to distance. So this is a guy that's opposed to the Big Bang. Starting in 2014, we had already published results based on HST images that showed the galaxies with redshifts all the way up to 5 matched the expectation of non-expanded ordinary space. So we were confident that James Watt would show the same thing, which it already has, for galaxies having redshifts as high as 12. Put another way, the galaxies that the James Watt shows are just the same size as the galaxies near us. If it is assumed that the universe is not expanding and redshift is proportional to distance. Dark matter doesn't exist. Oh no! But from the standpoint of the Big Bang expanding universe hypothesis, these distant galaxies must be intrinsically extremely tiny to compensate for the hypothesized optical illusion. What a mouthful that was. Implausibly tiny. One galaxy noted in the papers called JWST is far more luminous than the Milky Way, yet is calculated to be only 300 light years in radius, 150 times smaller than the radius of our Milky Way. Its surface brightness per unit area would be 600 times that of the brightest galaxy in the local universe. Its density and of several other galaxies in the new images would be tens of thousands of times that of the present day galaxies. Tiny and smooth galaxy means no expansion and thus no Big Bang. Big Bang theorists have known for years from the HST images that their assumptions necessitate the existence of these tiny, ultra-dense, mighty mouse galaxies. James Watt has made the problem far worse. The same theorists have speculated the tiny galaxies grow up into present-day galaxies by colliding with each other, merging to become more spread out. So looks like they keep changing the rules and adding in new bits and pieces to explain it away to keep the same model, right? An analogy to this hypothetical merger process would be to imagine a magical toy car, a centimetre long that nonetheless weighs as much as a SUV and grows into a real SUV by colliding with many other toy cars. Looks like we've got a little video there to demonstrate it, does it? Won't play it though. Big Bang goes the Big Bang. Bang goes the Big Bang, I mean. Roger, John, and Laura. But the James Watt has shot through this far out scenario as well. If you could believe the toy car story, you would at least expect some fender dents in the colliding cars, and the Big Bang theorists did expect to see badly mangled galaxies scrambled by many collisions or mergers. That makes sense. And what James Watt actually showed was overwhelmingly smooth disk and neat spiral forms. Just as we see in today's galaxies, the data in the Panic article showed that smooth spiral galaxies were about 10 times as numerous as what the theory had predicted. And this would challenge our ideas about mergers being a very common process. In plain language, this data utterly destroys the merger theory. With few or no mergers, there is no way tiny galaxies could grow to be 100 times bigger. Therefore, they were not tiny to begin with, and thus the optical illusion predicted from the expanded universe hypothesis does not exist. But no illusion means no expansion. The illusion is an unavoidable prediction from expansion. Thus, the panic among Big Bang supporters, tiny and smooth galaxies means no expansion, thus no Big Bang. Since nothing could have originated before the Big Bang, the existence of these galaxies demonstrates that the Big Bang did not occur. Too old and too many galaxies mean the same thing. The JWST uses many different filters to take its images in the infrared part of the spectrum. Thus it can see the colors of the distant galaxy. This in turn allows astronomers to estimate the age of the stars in these galaxies, because young hot stars are blue in color and older cooler stars like our sun are yellow or red in color. According to the Big Bang theory, most distant galaxies in the JWST images are seen as they were only 400 to 500 million years ago, after the origin of the universe. Yet already some of the galaxies have shown stellar population that are over 1 billion years old. Since nothing could have originated before the Big Bang, the existence of these galaxies demonstrates the Big Bang did not occur. So another nail in the coffin there. Just as there must be no galaxies older than the Big Bang, if the Big Bang hypothesis was valid, so theorists expected that as JWST looked out further in space and back in time, there would be fewer and fewer galaxies, and eventually none. A dark age in the cosmos, but a paper to be published in Nature demonstrates that galaxies are massive and the Milky Way are common even a few 100 million years after the hypothesized bang. The authors state that the new images show that there are at least 100,000 times as many galaxies as theorists predicted, at redshifts more than 10. There is no way that so many large galaxies can be generated in so little time. So again, no Big Bang. Sounds quite logical reasoning what he's saying here, though, isn't it? Well, Big Bang theorists were shocked and panicked by these new results. Ricardo and I and a few others were not. In fact, a week before the JWST images were released, we published online a paper that detailed accurately what the image would show. We could do this with confidence because more and more data of all kinds has been contradicting the Big Bang hypothesis for years. The widely publicized crisis in cosmology has drawn general attention to the failed predictions of the Big Bang hypothesis for the Hubble constant relating redshift to distance. But our papers published over past decades have pointed to far more contradictions, each individually acknowledged by other researchers. But based on the published literature right now, the Big Bang makes 16 wrong predictions and only one right one. The abundance of deuterium and isotope of hydrogen. So I'm just going to explain it here, I suppose. Helium far too low in local stars. Okay, I'm not sure what that all means exactly. The Big Bang prediction of the abundance of helium is off by a factor of 2. The prediction for the abundance of lithium is off by a factor of 20. And that's quite a big one. In addition to the absence of the larger, more distant optical illusion, there is also the existence of large-scale structures too big to have formed in times since the Big Bang. Wrong predictions for the density of matter in the universe, as well known asymmetries in the cosmic microwave background that should not exist according to theory. There are many more contradictions in early JWST published 2 comprehensive papers summarizing the situation based on the published literature right now. The Big Bang makes 16 wrong predictions. How long does this go on for? He's pretty conclusive here. Readers may well be wondering at this point why they have not read of this collapse of the Big Bang hypothesis. Yeah, mainstream media in the major media outlets by now, and why the authors of so many recent papers have not pointed to this collapse themselves. The answer lies in what I term the Emperor's New Clothes effect. If anyone questions the Big Bang, they are labelled stupid and unfit for their jobs. Unfortunately, funding for cosmology comes from a very few government sources controlled by a handful of committees that are dominated by Big Bang theorists. These theorists have spent their lives building the Big Bang Theory. Those who openly question the theory simply don't get funded. Yep, I've heard that said many times. It has now become almost impossible to publish papers critical of the Big Bang in any astronomical journals. Until the past few years, if researchers could self-fund cosmology research as a sideline, as the case with me, they still could publish theoretical papers, although those papers were often ignored by cosmology establishment. As recently as 2018, the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, a leading journal, published one of my papers showing how the sizes of the galaxies contradicted the expanding universe idea. But as the crisis in cosmology became obvious in 2019, the cosmological establishment has circled the wagons to protect this failed theory with censorship because it now has no other defense. That's probably, if I'm reading this out, this episode's probably going to be suppressed as well. It has now become almost impossible to publish papers critical of the Big Bang in any astronomical journals. An anonymous senior editor, rejected my survey papers, writing, "There are many journals which would be interested in publishing a well-argued synthesis of existing evidence against the standard hot Big Bang interpretation, but with the focus on publication of significant new astronomical results is not one of them." The replies from several other journals were similar. Such censorship is now, as always, inimical to the progress of science. 24 researchers in astrophysics, astronomy, and space science have signed a letter of protest. I've personally called on leading Big Bang theorists to openly debate the new evidence for cosmology. As for any research area to advance, the debate must happen openly in both scientific journals and public media. To use fusion energy, the power that drives the universe and gives light to the sun and all the stars, we need to understand the processes that drive cosmology evolution. So we were looking at that with the AI bots last live stream, remember? These scientific questions matter in the here and now. Over decades, scientists, starting with physics, Nobel, whatever it is, Hayes, blah blah blah, has shown if the Big Bang hypothesis is thrown out, the evolution of cosmos and the phenomenon that we observe today, like the cosmic microwave background, can be explained using the physical process we observed in the laboratory, especially the electromagnetic processes of plasmas. We're talking about plasma. Plasma is the electrically conducting gas that makes up nearly all matter that we see in space, in the stars, and in space between the stars. Only Hubble redshift relationship would still need some new physical process to explain the loss of energy as light travels huge distances. One of the key processes in plasmas that Alvin, I don't know, is that how you say his name? Alvin, and his colleagues identified, which has been studied for 50 years, is plasma filamentation. This is a process by which electrical currents and the magnetic fields they create draw plasma into the latency system of filaments that we see at all scales in the universe, from the aurora. I've not heard of the RAE on the end, but anyway, in the Earth's atmosphere to the solar corona to galactic spiral arms, even the clusters of galaxies. Together with gravitational forces, plasma filamentation is one of the basic processes in the formation of planets, stars, galaxies, and structures at all scales. The process of plasma filamentation is also key to enormously important effort to develop fusion energy here on Earth. To use fusion energy, the power that drives the universe and gives light to the sun and stars, we need to understand the processes that drive cosmic evolution, just as the Wright brothers developed the airplane by studying how birds controlled their flight. So today we can only control the ultra-hot plasma with fusion reactions occur by studying how plasmas have at all scales in cosmos. How they behave in all scales in cosmos. We need to imitate nature, not try to fight it. Well, this guy seems to write pretty well, doesn't he? And it makes a lot of sense. How long is it going for though? It's got no scroll bar on this. Unless I turn that off, it'll probably show up here. So we're down to there. Oh, we just got to the end. And there we got later comments. There'd be a lot of people debating that. Oh, I'll just read out the rest of it then. Fusion energy, where did we get to? Well, many researchers have been funded to study these processes on the scale of the sun and solar system. Work on larger scales have been hobbled by the straight jacket of the Big Bang hypothesis, which has diverted hundreds of thousands of talented researchers into fertile calculations of imaginary entities like dark matter and dark energy. Yeah, doesn't mean he's totally right here though. If aliens and all that turns out to be true, they're gonna have to have something more than plasma just to travel large distances in the universe, right? But then if they're traveling large distances through a portal, I suppose it could come from plasma, couldn't it? All the energy. But how is the question. Maybe the answer is not black and white here again, but in the grey, right? The grey area. Maybe this guy's mostly right and maybe the Big Bang's mostly wrong. But maybe there is still something missing. The paranormal side of things, as I call it. Stuff that hasn't been taken as serious, as paranormal. I mean, obviously it happens. We see it happen on videos, and strange things happen on videos now as the technology is improving. It has to be explained. What's it? JWST Adventures just had a episode on where you see a door slam shut. Now, either they're faking it, or some unknown force with energy slammed that door shut. And it was inside a building, so... But again, they didn't go in and show you there was no windows and any other thing in that in that room. So I don't know. It could have been faked. Who knows? But we'd have to trust them that they're not faking it. This is the whole problem with paranormal side of things, right? But yeah, like I said, I was in the kitchen one day, and the doorknob turned and the door opened and no one was there. And another night I was sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got woken up for some reason, and I think I had low sugars, and I was sitting on the chair eating a biscuit and some milk or whatever, and the door opened up wider. It wasn't shut, but it just opened up wider, and this really cool blast of air went right behind me. It was kind of creepy, but anyway. So you got personal experiences, you know, but again, I didn't have my cameras back then to document it, because that would have been really cool to see that door open. It's funny how I don't get freaked out too much though, isn't it? You know, I finish off my biscuit and go back to bed. So we got a Asian guy here, John Adventures, or whatever his name is. I think the Big Bang Theory is wrong because the existence of blue shifted galaxies. On the other hand, I have doubts about nuclear fusion. Have theories shown that the nature has stored usable energy in hydrogen atoms, or have the experiments show that there is a unstable energy in light elements? So yeah, I was looking at this in the last live as well, wasn't I, saying where's all the energy coming from? You know, when the atoms are split, and that energy has to come from somewhere. And then I think there's more to it. Now, we're seeing the atom bombs as they split atoms, and it creates a lot of energy. Immense energy. From not too much material, which is quite interesting. And it means there's a lot of energy. Now, let's see. How much... I probably should use the AI. How much... material is needed for 20 megaton fission bomb. Probably be banned. It's probably think I'm that a terrorist or something. Like the JetGPT thought when I was talking about people freezing in space. It refused to talk to me. I know they've got to enrich a certain amount. Let's see. Enriched to 90% uranium-235. Simple gun type weapon. Does it mean a bullet size? What's it mean by that? 90 to 100 pounds. 40 to 50 kilograms. But it doesn't say what energy is released here. Plutonium, sophisticated implosion weapon, 9 to 12 kgs. So it's even less. Simple implosion, 6 kgs. Sophisticated implosion weapon, 2 to 4 kgs. What's that one? Same. But it doesn't say what energy. What is the blast radius of 20 mega? Bomb. Okay. All three produce blasts of about 20 megatons, or about 1,000 times as strong as the Trinity bomb. A bomb of this strength would incinerate everything within 3 square miles. So that's pretty small to it. The latest ones, right? How many tons of uranium needed to build a nuclear bomb? 25 kilograms. So that's not much, really, is it? And 55 pounds. What's that equivalent to? A dozen Coke bottles, is it? 1.5 litres. So it's pretty small, isn't it? Little box. Anyway, and you get all that energy from it. What else we got here? We got anyone with us still? It's going to be a bit too technical for most of you out there, probably. Zero watching. That's all right. I expected John not to last. Of course, I don't believe those stats. There'll probably be 1 or 2 there. Let's see. Anything else here? I might just... No, that's it. That was a really good article, I thought. That's probably why I bookmarked it. 16 problems with Big Bang. I guess that'll do. How are we going for time? It feels like I'm taking ages on this. So now we got the fact checkers trying to debunk it all, right? But that was a really good article. I don't think coming up to 2 hours already. Okay, damn. Hearing that ring from my headset makes me want to go to the toilet. So I might just have a little break while I go to the toilet and then carry on from here. Just kick that one off. Nuke the people that didn't show up. Right, back to it. Yeah, the ammunition would have finished before I got back. Images from the James Watt telescope do not disprove the Big Bang Theory. That's not what we just read. So let's see. We don't trust fact checkers. Mostly false. The fact checkers are often biased, and we have proven that some of the fact checking has been totally wrong, especially in the politics, like the word hunter and laptop. Tiny and small galaxies means no expansion and thus no Big Bang. So the Big Bang Theory currently is the most popular model. Still a theory. We have for the birth of our universe observations on the expanding universe, as well as observation of cosmic background radiation, fringing electromagnetic radiation from the Big Bang, have helped back this theory. However, rumors have spread on the internet that the newly released images from James Watt somehow suggest the Big Bang is wrong. We find this claim to be mostly false, although the speculative images from the James Watt may have surprised scientists in how they might change theories of the galaxy formation. They by no means negate the Big Bang Theory. Much of the argument stems from an article by Eric Lerner, author of the book The Big Bang Never Happened. Lerner's article, published in AYA1 News, argues that new James Webb Telescope images contradict the Big Bang hypothesis. Lerner appears to suggest that the distant galaxies seen in the images are older than the Big Bang Theory would allow, since they seemed to resemble fully formed galaxies. However, the data from James Watt suggests the galaxies form more quickly than we think, not that they are necessarily contain elements from before the Big Bang, or that the universe is not expanding. The observation of these well-formed galaxies at such an early time does not debunk a theory what is well supported as the Big Bang. Lerner also cherry-picks quotes from astronomer Alison Kirkpatrick. So this is the article we just read, right? Who said in an article published in Nature, "Right now I find myself lying awake at 3 in the morning, wondering if everything I've done is wrong." Yeah. Cool. Kirkpatrick has since explained that she was reacting in awe of what astronomers have learnt from the first James Watt images, not as proof as astronomers panicking that the Big Bang Theory has been debunked. Hang on, isn't that just mincing words here? Right now I find myself awake at 3 in the morning, wondering if everything I've done is wrong. Yeah, it seems to me like they're switching words around here. Kirkpatrick suggests the images from James Watt support the Big Bang model because they show us the early galaxies were different than the galaxies we see today. They were much smaller. This common misconception that redshift proves the galaxies are speeding away from us. They aren't. Distant galaxies aren't speeding through space. Space itself is expanding, putting greater distance between us. It's a subtle difference, but it means that galactic redshift is caused by cosmic expansion, not relative motion. Also, isn't it the same thing though? If you're blowing up a balloon, if you blow it up faster or slower, that dot on the surface of the balloon is going to expand faster away from the so-called center, which they don't believe exists, expanding away from the other dots on the balloon as well. Again, they're just playing with words here, I think. It's caused by cosmic expansion, not relative motion. Also means distant galaxies appear a bit larger than they would in a static universe. They are distant and tiny, but the expansion of space gives the illusion of them being larger. As a result, the surface brightness of distant galaxy dims only proportionally to redshift. Former NASA scientists who work with the agency's Kepler mission responds to the article questioning the Big Bang hypothesis. In short, the evidence is still overwhelming in favor of a hot Big Bang as the origin of the universe. There are many pieces of evidence that come together to motivate this model. If the Big Bang were to be wrong, it would not likely be wrong for the reasons described, and it's not wrong because of any observations from James Watt. While the origins of the model stem from observation of expansion of the universe from galaxy redshifts, the Hubble law, most of the detailed evidence for Big Bang comes from the very early universe, the relative abundance of light elements, and the properties of cosmic wave background. The processes that made these occur within the first 500,000 years after the Big Bang. The James Watt images are looking at galaxy as they were 500 million or more years after the Big Bang, a factor of 1000 later in time. There is much more uncertainty with how galaxies form and how the first stars form, which are a very complicated process that involve lots of different physical effects. Then there is about the first 500,000 years, which was a relatively simple hot plasma of hydrogen and helium ions, and therefore it was similar to conditions in the core of the sun. So does it really counteract what the guy says? I don't think so. Anyway, on to the next tab. So that's why I have argument versus the modern science narrative there for comparison, for balance. As I said before, I don't think it's black and white, but somewhere in between. I think all people are wrong. And they need to get out in space and start to do real science work instead of theorizing. But it will happen in time, I guess. Fact checker. But I don't trust fact checking sites. Don't know about you, but I certainly don't. Oh. Why did it do that? On to the next tab. Right, on to something else with plasma. Plasma shields formed by spacecraft affect nearby electrons and ion trajectories. Okay, so what's this one about? There'll be a reason why I included it. Because spacecraft have no connection to ground, the accumulation of charge during flight creates a plasma sheath around the vehicle, affecting scientific measurements taken in flight. A recent paper by Barry et al. Studies the deflection of particles caused by this charge accumulation. Yeah, I think it was about, you know, looking at these NASA ice particles in space and all that. Here they're saying that about plasma charging the skin during flight. Now, we know the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner as further away you get from Earth. So even in orbit, there is still some particles from Earth as well as from the spacecraft engines. So will that charge be negated around the craft? Well, it's flying through space. It's going to have to be flying through some plasma charge still, even if it's minute. I think all that's going to change the repelling and probably even in the experiments, like they're saying here. So let's just keep on reading. By looking at detection biases of electrons and ions, the researchers created a map of particle migration determined from where detected particles originated. There are subtle error signatures present in science data, and we propose that this bias effect is one source of those error signatures. The group found that particles are deflected in both energy and direction. Both electrons and ions undergo a non-uniform deflection, which results in an asymmetry in their detection. Wire booms on the spacecraft used to measure electric fields are found to be the primary drivers of the observed asymmetries. It was interesting to see how much a thin wire could have such a large effect on measurements of the surrounding plasma. To obtain particle counts and map their trajectories, data from the fast plasma investigation, a plasma instrumentation suite on NASA's Metaspheric multi-scale mission was analyzed. This onboard flight data was paired with a simulation to characterize the particle behavior through the plasma sheath. Understand the particle paths can help scientists properly evaluate onboard data. The real goal of this research is to perform a correction on the science data for existing missions and to inform future space design so to avoid these effects altogether. Alright. That was 2019. Plasma charge. There was another new article. Whereabouts did I put it? What's that one? Yeah, there's some goofony. Yeah, might get to that. Probably have to be another live show. nuclear borers. Yeah, that's a good one. The new tech cuts through rock without grinding into it. Yeah, I'll cover that. And there was another one. I'm not sure what's happened to it. Oh, right, this one here. Let's just go through this one since we were talking about the Big Bang before. And this comes out this month, 2023. So it's carrying on from that other article pretty much. A couple of years ago now, isn't it? How old is our universe? New study says Big Bang might have happened 27 billion years ago. So now they've changed it. Instead of agreeing that the Big Bang didn't happen, now they're saying that the age of the universe is totally wrong. So again, they're just changing things to suit their theory to keep it going. So let's see if I can read it. New telescope reveals stellar birth. The Webb Space Telescope is marking 1 year of cosmic photographs with, so 1 year already, is it? One of the best yet. The dramatic close-up of dozens of stars at the moment of birth. NASA unveiled the latest snapshot Wednesday, revealing 50 baby stars in a cloud complex 390 light years away. Is that all? Yeah, not too sure how they can say that's the birth of the universe. Because it looks like they keep changing things. Now, the idea was that it forms hydrogen that forms into dense stars, right? And fusion is triggered. So I guess that's the gas cloud and it's forming new stars. That's what they're saying there, is it? Dozens of stars. Is it a dozen? I suppose it would be dozens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. Okay. It's a question that has vexed scientists for ages. How old is our universe? The question is simply enough. But as the years go on, it's become apparent that settling on an answer isn't quite so easy. Even today, the matter remains open to discussion as new research could, at any moment, upend our previous cosmic conception for the age of the billions of galaxies that comprise our universe. That's what happened last week when a new study released challenging the long-held notion that our universe is nearly 14 billion years old. If the findings of the latest research prove accurate, the Big Bang may have taken place 26.7. Got to have the 0.7 added billion years ago, making the actual age of the universe nearly twice as old as we thought. So what if they find even more stars with better telescopes? That's going to change again. Maybe the universe is endless. How the impossible early galaxy problem undermined our understanding of the universe age. For years, astronomers and physicists have primarily calculated the age of the cosmos by measuring the time elapsed since the Big Bang and studying the closest stars. But the study published June 7th in a journal, Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, seems to confirm that previous estimates were widely off. What's referred to the new study as the impossible early age galaxy problem has long baffled scientists who struggle to reconcile. Why some galaxies thought to have come into existence long after the Big Bang appears to in fact be much older than the universe estimated age. Observed through NASA's James Watt Telescope, galaxies and stars like the Methuselah appear to have a level of maturity and mass typically associated with billions of years of cosmic evolution. It's a notable observation considering that the widely held belief that they came into existence hundreds of millions of years after the Big Bang. So by making the universe older, they can counteract those other problems. Okay, do we need to read out any more of this? How did this study determine the universe could be 26.7? The redshift of light. Literally, light from distant galaxies stretched and shift towards the red part of the spectrum is what has long helped to inform physicists' estimates of the universe age. In simple terms, the thought has been that the redshift indicated the distance of stars and galaxies, and hence the faster they are moving away from Earth. Not moving, no motion, it's expanding. As we just read earlier. By estimating the rate at which the stars are moving away, scientists can calculate how fast space is expanding into an infinite growing universe. So now it's infinite. But the so-called tired light theory that originated in 1929 with Swiss astronomer Fritz offered an alternative explanation. Perhaps the redshift we see isn't due to galaxies moving away from us. Instead, Sawicki's hypothesis was that it might be because light loses energy and shine after traveling a long distance. Well, can they prove that wrong? Gupta proposes that if we allow Sawicki's theory to coexist with the idea of expanding universe, we can reinterpret the redshift as a hybrid of both of these phenomena and thus arrive at an even more accurate age estimate of the universe. And Gupta goes even further in the study, introducing the fundamental physics idea from English theoretical physicist Paul Dirac, that coupling constraints govern the interactions between particles. What does that mean? Gobbledygook. If these constraints evolve, then the time it takes for the early galaxies observed in the Webb telescope to form extends from a few 100 million years to several billion years. Better put, it would offer an explanation for the advanced level of development and mass observed in the previous puzzling early galaxies. So I wonder if that guy's now addressed all these things that we read first of all, talking about the plasma universe. I think there's always going to be problems with theories. They'll keep tweaking it until it can explain every abnormality. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct one. The Big Bang seems to be getting more and more complex, right? Okay, getting through it slowly. It's all interesting stuff. Because all this has got to be connected to aliens and UFOs, right? Ghostly mirrors for high-powered lasers. Now, it's another article I've come across. Laser-driven mirrors capable of reflecting or manipulating light has been produced. The mirrors exist for only a fragment of time, but could help to reduce the size of ultra-high powered lasers, which currently occupy buildings the size of aircraft hangars to university basement sizes. They have potential to be developed into a variety of plasma-based. Okay, we got plasma again. High damaged threshold optical elements that could lead to small footprint, ultra high power, ultra short pulse laser systems. Sounds like we're getting close to laser weapons in planes, isn't it? Or even tanks, and maybe even handheld plasma beams. Terminator. The new way of producing mirrors and other optical components points the way to developing the next generation high-powered lasers from hundreds of petawatts, 1,000 watts, to exawatts, 1018. Am I reading that right? Petawatts, exawatts. There's only 3 difference in those numbers. The new research has been published in Communication Physics. Look at this one. It's got to be someone in the Eastern Bloc somewhere. Or living in America. That come from, parents come from there. Dino JWST. Where's the Sunskis come from? Ukraine? I don't know. They are pretty good on their maths, Ukrainians. They're pretty good coders as well. Department of Physics led the research. He said high-powered lasers are tools that enable research in many areas of medicine. Biologically, material sciences, chemistry and physics. Making high-powered lasers more viable would transform the way science is done. Also, wars, I'd say. Weapons. Could these tools in a single room on a table for a reasonable price? The work significantly advances the state of the art of high-powered lasers by proposing new methods for generating optical elements. Makes you wonder if they could have a laser beam, if they're going to Mars, they should release these laser receivers and senders in space like satellites and use a beam between them like fiber optics, so they've got fast communication back to Earth instead of using radio signals, digital radio signals. Would it be faster? I don't know. Would it be cleaner? More bandwidth? Must be some benefit to using lasers instead of radio waves. That's a good question. I wonder if we can ask it. Is there a benefit So you're using laser light over radio to communicate long distance. Because how do the aliens do it? Main advantages of using laser communication over radio waves is increased bandwidth. That's what I said. There you go, not so stupid. Enabling the transfer of more data in less time. So that must be the reason. Because you want to send back pictures and voice and data. I suppose that might be what Elon Musk is doing with his satellites. I think he's got a laser link between the Starlink, hasn't he? And then he uses radio from there, going back down to Earth, where you got a receiver, so you can get your internet that way. Infrared light used for laser communications. So they're using infrared light. Okay. Differs from radio waves because the infrared light packs the data in significantly tighter waves. So I wonder if these high powered lasers would increase the distance then. New research has produced layered plasma mirrors. Oh, okay, here's plasma again. A group of now planning further proof of principle experiments to demonstrate the robustness and fidelity of the plasma optical elements. Plasma is fully ionized gas and makes up the vast majority of the visible universe. Here we go again. Considering propagation laser beams produce a beat wave in plasma that drives electrons and ions into a regular layer structure which acts as a very robust high reflectivity mirror. Very interesting. This mirror exists only fleetingly for a few picoseconds, less than 1 over, what is it, 100 trillion, is it? No, billion. 1 over 100 billion of a second. Its ghostly presence enables very intense laser light to be reflected or manipulated. Okay, well, I suppose we got the rough idea. I'll post a link to that. There's more reading on that. Plasma is everywhere. Plasma is changing things. Plasma mirrors of all things. So you can see that maybe UFOs will be using plasma in more than one way, probably. The fourth state of matter. Yeah, we're done with that one. How much more we got? There's a few more tabs here to go yet. How are we going for time? Feels like another hour's passed already. 2.5, okay. Looks like no one's interested in science on YouTube anyway, or these articles. On to the next one. What was this one? Oh, right, talking about solar wind and plasma. Solar wind plasma in the magnetic sphere. And there was something interesting in this. I can't remember what it was now. Maybe it's just a nice picture. So you can see there's a weakness in the field here, where we get the southern lights and the northern lights happening right in the higher atmosphere. So that means satellites going around that location there certainly would be affected by it, right? Have we got any other stuff here? I think it was just a picture, was it? Might be because the filter's hiding something. Let's just turn it off just in case. What have we got here? Solar flare, solar wind. No, I can't see a more button or anything. But yeah, at least we can see how the magnetic field of the Earth protects it, apart from the north and south poles. Are the weak areas, I guess. How are astronauts in the International Space Station protected from solar flares? Okay, we just saw a picture of it. Okay, we'll see what they say here. Does the magnetic field stop at all? Probably not. So let's see what it says. The sun emits electromagnetic radiation which may consist of UV, infrared, X-rays, and also charged particles that are emitted from the sun which are harmful to humans. Well, we know the light gets to Earth, so it must go through some of the shielding, because we get UV and we get infrared heat, and obviously X-rays. But how much? Probably gets absorbed by the air, does it? So what's it saying here? They are emitted, harmful to humans, but during intense solar flares it emits more radiation and even gamma rays. How are astronauts in the International Space Station protected from the radiation? Okay, most of the EM radiation is stopped by regular materials. A sheet of paper can stop a lot of UV radiation. So that's going into a layer of carbon, I guess, made from trees. Solar flares generally do not emit much in the gamma ray range, only the strongest events do. So the biggest issue is charged particles at energies above 10 megawatts. No, is it? Mega electron volts. None of the regions on the International Space Station are safe. Oh, there you go. Thankfully, the intensity falls with increase in energy. So these higher energies tend to be much lower intensity. So what are they saying there? So nowhere's safe, but thankfully intensity falls with increasing energy. So these higher energies tend to be much lower intensity. So they can't protect it anywhere on the space station. So they're saying above that is rare, is what they're saying, is it? I'm just trying to understand what they're trying to say there. So far, solar flares haven't proven as dangerous as one would possibly think. They are nothing to easily dismiss, mind you, and the International Space Station crew does have procedures in place to weather the storm, but nothing too spectacular has yet happened due to them. It's like that movie where they're on the moon bases, and they get a solar flare and they got to get into shelter because the space chutes won't protect them. What was that called? The TV show. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's meant to be an alternative future where the Russians make it to the moon first or something. It's quite a good series. I can't think of the name. The ISS crew did receive a solar weather warning several times and were advised to enter the more protected areas of the International Space Station, such as the US-built Dynasty Laboratory, or the Russian-built service module Severdok. Severdis. I don't know how you say that one. Sedvesta. But they were in instances well within the safety margins. On one occasion, in December 2006, even sleeping throughout the event. The most interesting thing about solar coronal mass ejections, they cause a lot of solar flares, is that these are highly magnetized particles and they actually help push away other charged particles, such as high energy protons and cosmic rays, with the effect known as the Four-Bush decrease. Such particles are a lot bigger concern to astronauts. Effect known as Four-Bush. Such particles are a lot bigger concern to astronauts stationed on International Space Station. Cosmic rays are supercharged subatomic particles coming mainly from outside our solar system. Sources include exploding stars, black holes, and other characters that dwarf the sun in violence. Unlike solar protons, which are relatively easy to stop with materials such as aluminium or aluminum, as the Americans say, or plastic, cosmic rays cannot be completely stopped by any known shielding technology. Oh, that's interesting. Cosmic rays cannot be completely stopped. How about putting a planet in the way? I suppose it might still pass through a planet. Let's see. Cosmic rays. Do they pass through the Earth? Because there's a lot of water there. What's it say about that? Cosmic rays introduction. They are high energy particles that move through space at nearly the speed of light. Most cosmic rays are atomic nuclei stripped of their atoms with protons. Do cosmic rays penetrate the Earth? Cosmic rays constantly rain down on Earth, and while the high energy primary rays collide with atoms in the Earth's upper atmosphere and rarely make it through to the ground. Secondary particles are ejected from this collision and do reach us on the ground. Secondary particles. So it doesn't pass through Earth then. So the atmosphere can stop them. Discovered in 1912. A significant leap forward in cosmic ray science came in 2017 when the Pierre Auger Observatory, which is spread over 3,000 square kilometers in western Argentina, studied the arrival. Is that the one that sort of self-destroyed itself recently? The cable snapped. Studied the arrival trajectories of 300,000 cosmic particles. It concluded that there is a difference in how frequently these cosmic rays arrive, depending on where you look. While their origins are still nebulous, knowing where to look is first step. Cosmic rays can even be used for applications outside astronomy. In November 2017, a research team discovered a possible void in the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was built around 2560 BC. Using cosmic rays, the researchers found this cavity using muon tomology, which examines cosmic rays and their penetrations. Yeah, that's quite interesting. You never know what you're going to find. I suppose I should post it on the side. It's just me posting in the side by the looks of it. Pretty sad, really. Cosmic rays. Discovers void in pyramid. Hey, that one actually worked. So what we were looking at here. So you need lots of atmosphere to block it, and even then, if it's detected by a dish on the ground, well, they must have made it to the ground, a whole burst of them. September 2004 bush decreases. The amount of high energy subatomic and cosmic rays that would penetrate International Space Station hull with ease compared to protons of coronal mass ejection that can't pass through the space station external shield hull that easily actually decreases during solar flares on their way towards the Earth, forming a massive magnetic field on top of the Earth's own. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Another point is that while solar flares can reach head spinning speeds of several millions of kilometers per hour, the average distance from the Sun is still in the vicinity of 150 million kilometers, giving international space crew ample viewing time to react, with average of at least a day's worth of advance warning so they can prepare and move to better protected areas. There we go. Got a little impact risk. What's the color code? Blue is the best. So blue is that one there, is it? So that must be the research lab there. Anything else we need to read there? No, I'll just post a link to it. So there's all space radiation protection. That one's not going to go. Okay. I think it's got a lot of crap on the end too, isn't it? Yep. Delete that. There we go. Another tab done. So I normally mix in a bit of this with UFO stuff. Break it up a wee bit. It's just all piled on. And I had to do 2 lives on it. But I did actually include some UFO stuff in the last live, if you look at the chapters. With the cylinder craft over China. New spaceship antenna prevents radio silence during fiery re-entry. So we read last live show about it actually creates a plasma with the atmosphere, and it's not actually burning or heating up the outside of the craft directly. Creates like an air cushion, but it still gets very hot. But all this plasma around it, obviously they lose communication, right? That's what they're saying here, but they found a new way to get around that. When future spacecraft re-enter the atmosphere, a new kind of antenna might help them keep in contact with ground despite the fiery sheaths of super hot plasma around them. The technology might also help keep communication lines open to other hypersonic vehicles, okay, such as military planes and ballistic missiles. How about drones? How about UFOs? When a vehicle travels at hypersonic speeds, this is 5 or more times the speed of sound. An envelope of hot ionized air develops around. This so-called plasma sheath acts like a mirror against electromagnetic signals under most conditions, cutting off radio communications with anything outside the vehicle. A NASA Apollo 13 crisis revealed in 1970 the radio silence can be fraught with extraordinary tension. As the crippled spacecraft plummeted back towards Earth, the communication blackout lasted more than a minute longer than expected, leaving ground control in tortured suspense over whether the 3 astronauts aboard had survived. Hey Shogun, finally. You're the second person to show, but Johh Adventures beat you, but he left. Didn't stick around. What's going on then? How you been? Well, I've been almost 3 hours into this live show and mostly talking to myself, I guess, but people will probably watch it later. How's it going? How I've been? Not too bad. I did explain earlier some of the stuff, but you can go back and listen instead of me repeating it. Thanks for showing up, I guess. yeah, catch up later. I'll probably be wrapping up soon anyway. What is the time? 1:14 in the morning. I started early because I didn't walk the dog, because it's like the worst rainstorm yet to date. So I'm just wondering, I'm just panicking how my cameras are lasting out there. It may be easing off now. Oh yeah, maybe easing off a wee bit. Water on those two cameras. These ones are surviving pretty good, even though this one's got no protection, hasn't got any eaves at all. These ones have. I guess it depends which way the rain's coming down and the angle of the wind. But yeah, this one does seem well waterproof so far anyway. Especially with the extra tape I put on some of the holes, like the mic hole and the speaker hole. But you got water tension, right? So what's that moving across? It looked like something running across the screen there before. I know I want to do oh, we just lost connection there, did we? It's doing pretty well though. Was that a bug that ran across the screen before, or was it water running across the screen? That was kind of an interesting effect. Oh, look at the big splashes. That camera, if it's... Oh, what's this? That looked like an insect or something. Did you see that one? That wasn't a bounce of water. Why would an insect be flying around in that? That was very interesting. Wouldn't think anything was flying around. Maybe we can prove that Gab is wrong about insects in winter, because we've proven that already. We're in the middle of winter, and already we're seeing look like a flying something in the sky. Oh, there's another one, is it? Oh no, it might have been bounce of water, that one. But that one that went sort of like that, changed directions, that definitely looked like a bug. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more that's going horizontal. Now that's kind of interesting there, because we've got two cameras and it merges the images. You see how it sort of went psh. So the infrared over this side was illuminating it, but the sensor on this side didn't see the infrared from that angle. Kind of weird effect. Now we lost another camera, have we? Oh, that's not good. What was that one? We got it back. Well, that one's inside the house, so, but it is a pretty crappy wireless. These ones are on cable. All of those, apart from this one down here, that's in the bedroom next door, looking out the window. Now my cursor's not pointing to it anymore. See, it disappears. So that's kind of a bug. Yeah. Every time I move the cursor over, it disappears. Yeah, sometimes when it rains, it creates noise, and because the water absorbs the microwave energy, right? So if it's sending out signal and bouncing back, it's losing that extra signal going the other direction. So if the router's sending radio waves towards this and then it bounces back, it's getting some extra signal coming back. But if you've got water coming down, it's going to absorb that signal. That's how weather radars work anyway. They can see reflections back, and the intensity of them. Is it slowing down? Hopefully it's going to stop soon, because I reckon the street will be flooded. Maybe I should do little shorts of the street flooded because might be able to get 30,000 views like Blue Chicken did with his one with the block drain. It's amazing, little stupid videos like that gets lots of views, but when you do serious stuff, and like I do, it gets like 10 views. Definitely suppressed. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, so where were we? We're gradually working through the science tabs here. I was going to sort of break it up and add it in as a UFO topic, but now it's sort of ended up being all these scientific science topics one after another, but they've been very interesting, most of them. So how's the antenna work here to get through the plasma? Prior studies have tried to solve this communication black hole problem, but they all had their shortcomings. For instance, scientists have suggested changing the shape of hypersonic vehicles. Instead of using triangles, use Tic Tacs, because sharp nose vehicles, have thinner plasma sheaths that blunt nosed ones. Then black. So what is it saying here? Because sharp-nosed vehicles have thinner plasma sheaths than blunt-nosed ones. But sometimes blunt-nosed bodies are preferred because they can withstand heat better and slow down more quickly. Other approaches involve using magnetic fields to control the plasma sheath, or injecting water or other liquids into the plasma sheath to make it more permeable to radio signals. But these methods require extra power and weight. Obviously you've got to carry the extra weight. So it's a bit like a window washer. Shoot out the front of the space shuttle to get through the plasma. Now Gayo and his colleagues, Bin Heyo, sounds like a Chinese person, Guyan, also of Harbin Institute Technology. So what's that? Whereabouts is that? Revealed they might be able to use the plasma sheath itself to enhance signals for antennas to maintain communication. So they can actually use the plasma. How are they doing that? We have found a novel approach to solve the communication blackout problem. The researchers explained that when the electromagnetic fluctuations of radio antennas are in sync with those of their surroundings, a phenomenon known as resonance. Sounds like Tesla, doesn't it? He was talking about antennas and resonance. Can amplify radio signals. One example of resonance is the way a playground swing will climb higher from repeated pushes. Another well-known example of resonance can be seen when an opera singer hits just the right note to cause a champagne glass to resonate and shatter. The researchers suggest adding a carefully designed layer of electrically insulated material into communications antennas that would essentially store electrical energy in combination with the plasma sheath. This matched layer would generate resonant conditions during hypersonic flight. So again, this sounds like something that DARPA would be doing with those possible Tic Tac hypersonic drones that people keep saying are not alien, but maybe owls or Chinese, right? So the problem with that was stuff moving at hypersonic to be connected to a satellite control system, remote control system, right? You have to maintain good communication. But surely moving through the air at such speeds would cause this plasma sheath to be made, you'd think. It's a good question. Maybe it only happens at a certain speed of the object coming down. Let's see if we can ask that question actually. We say hypersonic missiles. Now it's got a pointy nose on those ones. They're saying about the pointy nose is a good way to break through. Do hypersonic missiles cause plasma? You often heard about people saying it's got a plasma shield around a UFO. During their high speed, heat is produced which breaks down the molecules in the atmosphere, causing formation of ionized gas layer called a plasma stealth or sheath. Was that a mistake? So it's easily challenging to detect hypersonic missiles, but few vulnerabilities of hypersonic missiles makes it possible for its detection. So also they're saying here that the plasma makes it invisible, because I suppose if you're beaming off microwave energy from radar, right, it's not going, as like radio waves, it's not going to penetrate it and bounce off. It's just going to dissolve, be absorbed into the plasma. It's quite interesting. So is that what makes UFOs invisible then? Plasma? Could be, you know. What's that say there? What damage does a hypersonic missile do? Fitted with conventional warheads, hypersonics don't inflict significant more damage than other. Okay. What is the plasma on hypersonic weapons? Hypersonic missiles interact with atmosphere. We just read all that. Do hypersonic missiles leave the atmosphere? So obviously creates plasma, but when you see it, hypersonic missiles plasma visible. By humans. Okay, we'll try that one. Why Russia's hypersonic missiles can't be seen on radar? Well, we already sussed that one out. But how about natural light? Hypersonic detection, not so stealthy after all. Okay, so there's a new article. Plasma sheath absorbs radio waves and thus renders the vehicle practically invisible to active radar system. So we're finding out, learning new things here all the time about this stuff, right? I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that sort of covered this as well in ufology section of this YouTube. No one's interested though. Ever since the first Nazi V2. Is there anything here? But it turns out a quirk of physics may also cloak hypersonic missiles. How about visible light though? Would it be like glowing in the night time? You see a glow going through the sky? That's what I want to know. So how can we word this? Do hypersonic missiles glow visible spectrum? of light. Okay, what do we got here? Hypersonic weapons do not zigzag across the sky. The stresses and heat generated by a 10,000 pound glide vehicle traveling at 5. So I said that before with that third phase video where it seemed to be going on crazy in the sky, that it couldn't be a missile test because it was simply snap in half. So it had to be a fake, right? Remember that one? Didn't hear any more on that one either, did we? 5 times to 15 times the speed of sound. Not so great. A sharp turn would rip the weapon apart. There you go. It's very interesting stuff. But we still haven't got the answer that I was after. But how you see them. It can be very hard to find information. Probably if I tried the GPT thing, maybe it's not even published information, military information. If it's not fun in 10 seconds, who wants to know? TikTok culture. Yeah. They don't want to learn, do they? The generation said. You seen the latest crap they're looking at now? What do they call it? Had a special name. Where people send them emoji and they got to act stupid for that emoji. And they have to pay to send the emoji. A bit like super chats. You seen that? I posted it in the... one of the sections anyway on Discord. Paul Watson was talking about it. I don't know if we can share it or not, but I can't remember what it was called. Sidetracked anyway on that TikTok. TikTok new craze. See if it comes up. What's it called? New craze, no? Craze I wanted. NPC trend, here you go, is out of control. Police issues warning about the new top craze. TikTok deadly new craze. Obviously there's a lot of crazes on TikTok because it goes back to 2020 here, is it? 5 days ago, so that's NPC is the latest one. Just be careful here what I can play though. It's kind of crazy what the kids are doing now. I think if I had kids I'd probably ban them from TikTok and block it. But I don't know how you'd be able to control it because the kids generally clever and can get VPNs and all sorts of ways around it and use it outside the house and all that sort of stuff. So
I gotta be honest with you all.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of weird things on the internet.
So I'm pretty sure Shogun has as well.
The internet for a while. And I've seen a lot of weird things. But this might just take the cake.
Ice cream, yum!
Here we go. So apparently she makes $7,000. Was it a day or an hour from doing this all day long? And TikTok take, unlike Google, 30%, they take 70% of the money. So she gets 7,000 and they take away most of it. But she still makes a couple grand out of it.
Gang gang, gang gang.
I don't know what that is, but it's unnatural.
It's the latest trend taking over TikTok. And in the same vein, taking over my Twitter feed. It's these videos of people on TikTok Live who, well, there's no other way to put it. They roleplay as NPCs, called being an NPC streamer.
Gang gang, gang gang. Ice cream so good. Gang gang. Gang gang.
You might have seen this
Now, you thought TikTok was mindless. How about now? So hopefully we don't get done for playing his video, but I'll paste a link to it and you can see the other clips if you want to. And Paul Watson puts together a good one. Good breakdown of it. And he makes it more funny too. NPC craze is nutty. But it makes good money for these girls to act dumb. That's pretty sad, really. It's really weird stuff. TikTok is making lots of money out of it too. They say it's like a pre-teen sex thing, where they can get girls to do all sorts of crazy sounds and hand gestures and whatever, body gestures. The world has gone mad. Yes, it certainly has. But anyway, back to science again instead of crazy people. I never really liked TikTok, but I'm on it. You know, I do put up my shorts from YouTube on it, and I do it as a test, really, just to see how many I could get to come across to YouTube. But I don't think I've got anyone come across from TikTok to YouTube after seeing the shorts there. So it's not, they haven't got the mentality for my stuff. But if I put up that one with the crazy lens flare UFO, or masses of bugs being filmed, they're interested in that. And it's kind of crazy, but they're not interested in the science or understanding it. So yeah, hypersonic missiles. Didn't really answer the question. I might just I suppose there might be videos of hypersonic missiles where you could actually see if they do glow, I suppose. Might just open up Microsoft Edge and ask the chat AI about it. Here we go. Ask me anything. Well, that didn't actually work last time, did it? I got banned for asking about people freezing in space. Let's see if it comes back. It's going to confuse the hell out of it. Maybe I've worded it wrong. Missiles. Yeah, here we go. Is it even going to answer the question? It's going to repeat what we already found out. Fly long distance through the atmosphere at more than 5 times the speed of sound. Yeah, we already know that. According to an article in Scientific America, hypersonic weapons would fly deep within the atmosphere most of the time, using lift generated by airflow to weave around and try to evade interceptors. Approaching at such low altitudes, these weapons would avoid detection by ground-based radar. But it doesn't even mention about the plasma, which we found about, until close to their target, making them more difficult to stop. I couldn't find any information about whether hypersonic missiles glow in the visible spectrum. See, I told you. Maybe that information is suppressed, you know. Hypersonic missiles of plasma sheath would be visible by humans, but invisible to radar. So much for AI. Let's see. So technically it should have like a orange glow, right, like the space shuttle coming down. But we don't actually see the space shuttle glowing, do we? I don't think I remember seeing any. Okay, so we've got popular mechanics here. What's it saying? According to the article, popular mechanics, a plasma sheath absorbs radio waves. Yeah, we know this. Thus renders the vehicle practically invisible to active radar system. However, the same plasma sheath also generates a lot of heat, and infrared sensors can spot hot objects. So that's, you know, that sort of relates to UFOs as well, right? Remember, you can see these objects in infrared, but you don't see it with your eyes, right? Because yeah, what does the space shuttle come at? What max speed does that coming down? What speed does the space shuttle what speed does the space shuttle reach when plasma is formed? Let's see. Okay, so what we got? Was that Mach 25? Did I read there? According to NASA, the space shuttle re-enters the atmosphere at high hypersonic speeds. M25, is that Mach 25? Under these conditions, the heated air becomes an ionized plasma of gas, and the spacecraft must be insulated from high temperatures. Is M25 Mach 25. So that's 25 the speed of sound. So that's even faster. That's correct. Why don't you say that in the full answer? Or put it in brackets. So that's at least 10 times faster than hypersonic missiles then. Would plasma around shuttle, we'll just put it down to things it could find out about, be seen by the eye, telescope, without infrared? Has to do, surely. Probably should have said infrared camera or whatever. I do not understand. Yeah, here we go. Can't find information. What's all these pictures coming up? See, that's infrared. Cause electric charge to accumulate on the spacecraft. Okay, so I don't know what else to don't know what else to ask it then. So we're not going to find the answer. So it can be seen in infrared. It'd have to be glowing orange, I would have thought, at least maybe a tip of it, right? But we have to move on, I guess. It's interesting though. Interesting stuff. Complicated stuff. I'm probably going to have to wrap up soon because I'm starting to hurt. What have we going for time? Better check. 3.5. Okay, how much we got left? What's all this? Was it something I had up? What was that from? Huh? got a feeling it was an article I had up. Now it's been sabotaged. I don't know. Or did I click on something? Anyway, I'll be talking about this guy, the one Corbell works with. Not Corbell, although he probably does. Cambion works with. So hopefully we'll do that with Robert. We got through the tabs. I got through half of them. Where do we get to? Talking about the antenna. Alright, talking about coating it. So normally planes have those little antennas that pop underneath that form like a V shape. So carefully designed installation. Now there we go. Finished with that one too. Something crazy going on here. So what was that one? Plasma communications. So if they figured that out, then they'll probably apply that to remote control hypersonic missiles then. If it's invisible to radar, they might be able to punch a hole through it and still be able to control it, right? And that will probably be used on drones, right, as well. All this stuff sort of fits together now, doesn't it? You know, I find all these little articles and it leads from one place to another. So it's got here the white and red traveling at Mach 25. You'd have to see that. I'm pretty sure I've seen videos of the space shuttle and they're filming the window and they can see the plasma flames through the window, right? So it probably looked like a comet in the sky, is what I was thinking there, right? You know, we see these comets flying through the sky, but maybe they could quite easily be hypersonic missiles as well. Especially over other countries, right? Middle East, and there might not be meteorites, there might be hypersonic missiles. Anyway, perhaps we'll find out more as the years go on, and you'll be able to say, oh, Paul was talking about that. Here we go. Oh, right. I don't think I got the energy for Faraday cages this time. Might have to add it onto the next live. And Mick West stuff on Skinwalker Ranch will have to be at next time. I'll just keep building it up. I'll have another episode after we do one with Robert, because I'll need tomorrow off again and set up his one for Monday, my Monday lunchtime, which will be Sunday midnight if you're around. It should be a good one. He wants to talk about a few things. So he's done some research for it, so we'll see what he brings to the table. Okay, so we'll just finish off on this one here, I think, and cover the other stuff another time. Researchers argue black holes will destroy all quantum states. That sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? Let's see. New calculations suggest that the event horizons will eventually decohere quantum possibilities, even those that are far away. Okay. So how's it all work? At Princeton University in early 1970s, the celebrated theoretical physicist John Wheeler could be spotted in seminars or impromptu hallway discussions drawing a big U. The letter left tip represents the beginning of the universe, where everything was uncertain and all quantum possibilities were happening at the same time. The letter right tip, sometimes adored with an eye, depicts the observer looking back in time, thus bringing the left side of the U into existence. Sure. In this participatory universe, as Wheeler called it, the cosmos expanded and cooled around the U, forming structures and eventually creating observers like humans and measuring apparatus. But looking back to the early universe, the observers somehow made it real. Sounds like one of those abstract thinking things, isn't it? It doesn't exist unless you observe it, and then when you observe it, it changes. Changes what it was. What's that one? Schulzberg, is it? No, what's that guy's name? Where the cat's alive or not in a box. What's the name? Anyway, doesn't matter. He would say things like, no phenomenon is true phenomenon until it's observed phenomenon, said Robert M. Wald, theoretical physics at University of Chicago. Here we go. Why didn't they put that picture up when they were talking about it? Okay, so now by studying how quantum theory behaves on the horizon of a black hole, Wade and his collaborators have calculated a new effect that is suggestive of Wheeler's participatory universe. The mere presence of black hole, they found, is enough to turn a particle hazy superposition, the state of being in multiple potential states, into a well-defined reality. It involves the idea that these black hole horizons are watching. Talk about wacky. Wacky thinking. Okay. What we have found might be a quantum mechanical realization of the participatory universe, but where space-time itself plays the role, because we were talking about space role at the beginning, space-time at the beginning, remember? Itself plays a role of the observer. These theoretical scientists are just wacky jobs to me. Theorists are now debating what to read into these watchful black holes. This seems to be telling us something deep about the way gravity influences measurements in quantum mechanics. Theoretical astrophysicist at the University of Arizona. Sounds like a cushy job to me. Just make up bullshit and get paid for it. But whatever this will prove useful for researchers inching towards a complete theory of quantum gravity is still anyone's guess. The effect is one of many uncovered in the past decade by physicists studying what happens when quantum theory is combined with gravity at low energies. For example, theorists have had great success thinking about Hawking radiation, which causes black holes to slowly evaporate. So, I just don't believe all this nonsense. I really don't. Subtle effects that we haven't really noticed before gives us constraints from which we can glean clues about how to go up towards quantum gravity. Quantum bubbles, quantum universe, quantum tunnels, all this stuff. The theoretical physicist at Vanderbilt University who was not involved in the new research. Black holes and superpositions. To understand how a black hole could observe the universe, it's crazy. It really is. Start small. Consider the classic doubts slits experiment, in which quantum particles are fired towards two slits in a barrier. Those that pass through are then detected by a screen on the other side. At first, each traveling particle seems to appear at random on the screen, but as more particles pass through the slits, the particles of light and dark stripes emerges. The pattern suggests that each particle behaves like waves that pass through both slits at once. The bands result in peaks and troughs of waves, either adding together or cancelling. They interfere with each other. Now added a detector to measure which of the two slits the particle passes through. The pattern light and dark strips will disappear. The act of observing changes the state of particle. Yeah, I sort of covered the double slit experiments, right? Because you got to remember, atoms eject electrons when light falls onto them. Remember that? So, you know, the experiment is made of atoms, and you're firing light, photons. Some of it's got to go into the atoms of the apparatus, and that apparatus could emit electrons, which then can be absorbed into other atoms and then emit light again. So they're saying if you try and observe it, it changes the state of the particle. Importantly, your detector doesn't have to be close to the slits to figure out which path the particle took. A charged particle, for example, emits a long-range electric field that might have slightly different strengths depending on whether it went through the right hand or the left hand slit. Measuring this field from far away will still allow you to give information about which path the particle took, and thus cause decoherence. Yes, diving into the deep end of stuff, isn't it? Spooky action at a distance and all that sort of stuff. I don't know really what to say about it. It's probably too late in the night for my brain now to break all this down. The rules of quantum mechanics, if Bob does successfully measure the particle, it will become entangled with him. Yeah, so it's talking about entangled particles, right? Anyway, I don't think we need to know too much about this. Who sent it to me? It was Jasper, which we don't see much of on the side anymore. Here on the horizon, the idea that event horizons gather information and cause decoherence isn't new. In 2016, Stephen Hawking, Malcolm Perry and Andrew Stromberger described how particles crossing over the event horizon could be accompanied by very low energy radiation that records information about how these particles. So it's all theoretical. It's just blah blah blah. You know, it all sounds good. Keeps him in a job. Yeah. Doesn't really much interest me, really. I'm not sure how that would relate to UFOs and aliens anyway, but I guess keep an eye on all this sort of stuff. Like I said, we will never know what the universe is and what life is all about. In the first live show on this part 1 that we did, and all these guys think they got it all figured out, but they don't see that there could be errors in the experiment itself, you know, because you're making apparatus out of atoms, and we know atoms do crazy things. So yeah, what do we call this one? Black holes. Black holes and quantum states. Quantum states. Man, it's still raining heavy out there. Man, oh man, all those tabs we got there. So we got through half of them anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next show will be with Robert, and then we got to look at some UFO stuff, some crazy nonsense that Third Phase has put out. Some videos there that we can analyze, some old ones. Let's see, what's the time now? 3.5 hours. Yeah. We'll just have a quick look at the one that I want to look at anyway. I think it was on this one. They already put out something new, have they? UFO cover-up. This one here, there's a few videos on here. Just quickly have a look. Oh, and meet those suckers. So they got that redhead on there, which I don't like. The one that wears all the heavy makeup and gloves and talks funny. So they got all these other videos here that I'll have a look at. So we got a light in the sky caught on a door cam. As you can see, it's way overexposed. It could be anything moving through the sky. But I can't remember, there was a security drone, and I'm not sure if this is the footage, where Homeland Security, where they got these drones with the big bright lights on. I think it might be this that we're seeing here on this one. But I'll recover it again later. Yeah, see, look, it looks like it's moving like a drone over top of the house. Not UFOs. And what's the next one? Don't think we can do much with that video anyway. This one here. The redhead's making silly comments about it. I believe this is 2 lead kites. This one. In case you see it come up. See how this triangle shape and the way they're moving like kites, and you can see which way the wind's blowing there. And they're LED kites. Kind of looks fake, but definitely looks like LED lights on a kite to me. I don't think it's faked. Gufon was saying it was CGI. And he couldn't out Third Phase on it because he couldn't say, oh, they're putting up garbage again. So he stopped playing it. he couldn't believe they put up this stupid video. But anyway, on to the next one. Was this the one? Oh, this one might be the one. It looks like, I know, this one we really looked at, which I said it looked like a bunch of balloons. The humanoid, right? They're claiming they got a bit of footage of it now from the guy. Still looks like a bunch of balloons. Okay, on to the next one. But we'll go over it a bit better next live. I do this one here, 1989 footage, I think it is. Oh no, this is the paraglider one still with the bunch of balloons. Okay, we'll come back to that one. This one here, I think. It hasn't got a timestamp. It's got a time though, isn't it? Yes, time. This one here, that kind of looks like a UFO. But to me, that looks like it's stationary, right? So I want to maybe see if I can look at it frame by frame. I got a feeling that it's a balloon that's been tethered. But the interviewer guy, I'm not here. Oh, this guy here. And I asked Robert about him. He said he's a self-confessed crop circle hoaxer. So if he hoaxes crop circles, what's the chances he's hoaxing this one too? So yeah, but it's an interesting video. It did look like a UFO, especially on some angles there. But the way it's sort of banking like that and all that, looks like it's in wind. And I don't think the clouds are moving. Looks like it's stationary. And it looks like he might be zooming in and out. Goes out of focus. Okay, it looks like it's going up there, but that could be because someone's releasing more of the rope, right? Kind of looks like one of those ad balloons. I don't know if they had them in AT. See the way it's wobbling. But anyway, I thought we'd cover that next sometime. I'll keep it there for a more detailed look at it. Yeah, 86. When it'd have to be when were the first ad balloons shaped like UFOs? Probably won't be able to find the information out though. Maybe the AI will know. Hot balloons and UFO histories. It's not answering the question there. Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to find that answer out. Myla come out after 1947, we know that much. I think the first balloons were definitely around about that time. So yeah, even if you made that at home, right, you could make that at home. Glue it together. Put some hydrogen even. You could make hydrogen at home, or use helium, I suppose, buy it. But yeah, we'll have a better look at that next time. I don't think Tyler's put out anything new yet still. Maybe the Out There channel has busted him finally. Hey, come on Tyler, put out something so we can bust you again. Mind you, we're not getting through to his million subscribers, obviously. They're not unsubbing. But anyway, I'll leave it there. 2 o'clock in the morning here. I need to go to the toilet anyway. And I've done almost 4 hours, so that's a good place to stop it. So I'll say good night now. We got through the part 2 stuff there. All the other stuff is new that I've added this week. Good night all. See you next time. Although only 2 of you bothered showing up again. I don't know why. Where's all the people in UK interested in UFOs and the Science Connection? Whereabouts did they all hang out? Because I can't seem to find them. Well, hopefully there'll be more people show up for Robertson anyway. But it should be more suitable for USA people anyway. There we go. So I go boop, boop, boop. good night, Shogun. And might take an hour for Google to process it. Is it working? Or was it screwed up here? Oh, there we go. Just a bit slow, was it? I'll do the chapters tomorrow, hopefully. So I'll see you Sunday night if you're around in the UK, and take care. I suppose 100 people will show up now just as I'm ending the live show. That's happened before, where we had like 10 people suddenly show up. Dash to the toilet.